Introduction to Criminology. Topic: Historical perspective. What is criminology? Criminology is the scientific study of crime, including its causes, consequences, and prevention. It examines the social, cultural, economic, and political factors that contribute to criminal behavior and the impact of crime on individuals, communities, and society as a whole. Historical perspective of criminology. A historical perspective of criminology reveals a dynamic evolution of thought, spanning centuries. Classical school. The classical school of criminology, led by Cesare Beccaria and Jeremy Bentham, emerged in the 18th century, emphasizing rational choice, free will, and punishment as a deterrent. This perspective posits that individuals make conscious decisions to commit crimes based on their own self-interest, and therefore, should be held accountable for their actions. Punishment, in this view, should be proportionate to the crime, serving as a deterrent to potential offenders. His influential work, On Crimes and Punishments, 1764, and Bentham's utilitarian philosophy shaped this school of thought. While the classical school laid the groundwork for modern criminology, it has faced criticism for neglecting social and environmental factors, focusing too heavily on punishment, and failing to account for individual differences and circumstances. Nonetheless, its ideas remain foundational to understanding crime and the criminal justice system. Key principles. 1. Rational choice. People make rational decisions to commit crimes based on their own self-interest. 2. Free will. Individuals have control over their actions and choices. 3. Punishment. Punishment should be proportionate to the crime and serve as a deterrent. 4. Deterrence. The threat of punishment should deter people from committing crimes. Key figures. 1. Cesare Beccaria, 1738–1794, Italian philosopher and jurist, wrote On Crimes and Punishments, 1764. 2. Jeremy Bentham, 1748–1832, English philosopher and jurist, developed the concept of utilitarianism. Key ideas. 1. Crime is a result of individual choice. 2. Punishment should be based on the severity of the crime. 3. The goal of punishment is to deter future crimes. 4. The criminal justice system should be fair and consistent. Criticisms. 1. Ignore social and environmental factors. 2. Too focused on punishment, not enough on rehabilitation. 3. Does not account for individual differences and circumstances. Positive school. Positive school of criminology, emerging in the 19th century, shifted focus from the classical school's emphasis on free will and punishment to a more scientific approach, examining the biological, psychological, and social factors that contribute to criminal behavior. Led by pioneers like Cesare Lombroso, Enrico Ferri, and Raffaele Garofalo, this perspective viewed crime as a product of internal and external influences, rather than just individual choice. Positivists sought to understand the causes of crime through empirical research, classifying offenders into categories, and developing rehabilitation programs tailored to individual needs. By recognizing that crime is a result of factors beyond personal control, the positive school laid the groundwork for modern criminological thought, emphasizing the importance of understanding the root causes of crime to develop effective prevention and treatment strategies. Key points. Scientific approach, emphasized empirical research and scientific methods to study crime, biological, psychological, and social factors, examined the role of internal and external influences on criminal behavior, classification of offenders, developed categories to understand different types of offenders and their needs. Rehabilitation, focused on treating and rehabilitating offenders, rather than just punishing them. Understanding root causes, sought to identify the underlying causes of crime to prevent and treat it effectively. Key figures. Cesare Lombroso, Enrico Ferri, and Raffaele Garofalo. Influence, laid the groundwork for modern criminological thought and influenced the development of criminology as a discipline. Chicago School. The Chicago School of Criminology, emerging in the early 20th century, focused on the social and environmental factors that contribute to crime, particularly in urban settings. Led by researchers like Robert Park, Ernest Burgess, and Clifford Shaw, this perspective emphasized the importance of understanding the social context in which crime occurs. Chicago school scholars examined the relationships between crime, poverty, and social disorganization, and developed the concept of social ecology to describe the interactions between individuals and their environments. By highlighting the role of social and environmental factors in shaping criminal behavior, the Chicago School laid the groundwork for community-based approaches to crime prevention and rehabilitation. Key points: social and environmental factors, emphasized the role of social context in shaping criminal behavior. Urban focus, examined crime in urban settings, particularly in Chicago. Social disorganization, developed the concept of social disorganization to describe the breakdown of social structures and institutions. Social ecology, introduced the concept of social ecology to describe the interactions between individuals and their environments. Community-based approaches, laid the groundwork for community-based approaches to crime prevention and rehabilitation. Key figures Robert Park, Ernest Burgess, Clifford Shaw, and Henry McKay. Influenced the development of community criminology, crime prevention, and urban sociology. Sociological criminology. Sociological criminology emerged in the late 19th and early 20th centuries, building on the foundations of classical and positive criminology. Sociologists like Emil Durkheim, Robert Merton, and Albert Cohen challenged traditional views of crime, instead emphasizing the role of social structures, institutions, and relationships in shaping criminal behavior. This perspective gained momentum in the 1920s and 1930s with the Chicago School, which focused on urban crime and social disorganization. Post-World War II, sociological criminology continued to evolve, incorporating insights from social theory, anthropology, and psychology. Today, it remains a dominant force in criminology, informing crime prevention, policy, and practice.
Key points: late 19th century, sociological criminology emerges, challenging traditional views of crime. Early 20th century, sociologists like Durkheim, Merton, and Cohen developed the perspective. 1920s-1930s, Chicago School focuses on urban crime and social disorganization. Post-World War II, sociological criminology incorporates insights from social theory, anthropology, and psychology. Present day, remains a dominant force in criminology, informing crime prevention, policy, and practice.
Key figures: Emil Durkheim, Robert Merton, Albert Cohen, Clifford Shaw, and Henry McKay. Shaped criminology, sociology, social policy, and crime prevention strategies. Theories: social disorganization, strain, and cultural deviance theories emerged from this perspective. Methods: empirical research, statistical analysis, and ethnographic studies are used to understand crime. Radical criminology. Radical criminology is a critical approach that emerged in the 1960s and 1970s, challenging the dominant perspectives in criminology. It argues that traditional criminology fails to address the root causes of crime, instead focusing on individual pathology and perpetuating social control. Radical criminology contends that crime is a product of social and economic inequality, stemming from the oppressive structures of capitalism, patriarchy, and racism. It emphasizes the need to understand crime within its social context, highlighting the role of power relations, exploitation, and resistance. This perspective seeks to empower marginalized communities and promote social justice by addressing the systemic injustices that lead to crime. Radical criminology draws on Marxist, feminist, and critical race theories to critique the existing social order and envision a more equitable society. By challenging the status quo and advocating for fundamental social change, radical criminology offers a transformative approach to understanding and addressing crime. Feminist criminology. Feminist criminology emerged in the 1970s as a critical response to the male-dominated field of criminology, which had largely ignored the experiences of women and girls. Feminist criminologists argue that traditional criminology perpetuates patriarchal biases, neglecting the ways in which gender shapes crime and criminal justice. They contend that women's crimes are often linked to their roles as caregivers, victims of abuse, and survivors of poverty. Feminist criminology seeks to understand the intersections of gender, race, class, and sexuality in shaping criminal behavior and criminalization. By highlighting the gendered nature of crime and punishment, feminist criminologists aim to promote more equitable and just approaches to crime prevention and intervention. Critical criminology. Critical criminology is a radical approach that challenges the dominant ideologies and power structures perpetuating crime and criminalization. Critical criminologists argue that traditional criminology serves the interests of the powerful, masking the social and economic inequalities driving crime. They contend that crime is often a rational response to systemic injustices, such as poverty, racism, and oppression. Critical criminology draws on critical theory, postmodernism, and post-structuralism to critique the existing social order and envision a more just and equitable society. By emphasizing the need for fundamental social change, critical criminologists seek to empower marginalized communities and promote social justice. Biosocial criminology. Biosocial criminology integrates insights from biology, psychology, and sociology to understand the complex interactions shaping criminal behavior. Biosocial criminologists argue that crime results from the interplay between genetic and environmental factors, such as brain chemistry, neurotransmitters, and life experiences. They contend that understanding the biosocial roots of crime can inform more effective prevention and intervention strategies. By examining the reciprocal relationships between biology and environment, biosocial criminologists aim to develop a more comprehensive understanding of criminal behavior, moving beyond simplistic biological or environmental explanations. This approach seeks to promote more nuanced and effective approaches to crime prevention and intervention. The historical development of criminology has been shaped by diverse perspectives and approaches, reflecting changing societal values, scientific advancements, and philosophical debates. From the classical school's emphasis on free will and punishment to the positive school's focus on scientific inquiry and rehabilitation, criminology has evolved significantly over time. The 20th century saw the rise of sociological criminology, radical criminology, feminist criminology, and critical criminology. Biosocial criminology has more recently integrated biological and environmental factors to understand criminal behavior. Throughout its history, criminology has grappled with fundamental questions about human nature, morality, and the role of society in shaping behavior. As criminology continues to evolve, its historical foundations will remain essential for understanding the complexities of crime and developing effective strategies for prevention and intervention. By learning from the past, criminology can build a more just and equitable future.